mic, right? Can you all hear me? All right. Praise the Lord. Good morning. And our I will stick to my time, and I am not going to introduce myself. And in the end, if anybody wants to see my website and get information, you can do that, because it's going to take a lot of time. We have to finish it in 40 minutes. I live in Pennsylvania. I came to Houston a few years back, and last year I was, 2 years back, I was in Baby Maurice's church in Dallas. The reason why we came here is to have a break, because I work, I must say, 365 days a year. No break. Even if I go to India, I conduct a lot of seminars in Bible schools, corporations, see the patients. So this was a little break and an official trip. And right after the church, I think we are going to eat here, right? Somebody is going to take me back to Sugarland and pack up my things and catch a 3 o'clock bus from downtown. And I'll be missing my conference dinner this evening. But from tomorrow onwards, we'll have a 3-day seminar. People from various parts of the country are coming. We are going to discuss about the missions, church planting, and everything. So we both are actually delegates from a large area, and we will try to do what we can also. I started serving the Lord when I was 17 years old, and many of the churches which you see in North India are the work of many people like, including me. We started, we had nothing in fact to look forward. We committed our life. Since you all may know, KPO and myself, Baby Varghese, we all work together. And now there are so many churches in that area, and I studied mostly in Philippines. The first Indian church was established there with the 2 people. And 4 or 5 years back, I went and preached there with 100 families there. And also, God helped us to establish a foreign students ministry many years back. And it is growing, because Philippines, that area attracts a lot of foreign students. And in connection with some churches, we established a mission group, and it is still growing. So I am not new to the missions, except for the fact that last so many years I was concentrating on my profession, and also, even though I am a born-again Christian baptized person living a life of faith, the Pentecostal churches never welcomed me, because they all thought, since this guy is wearing that time, I'm not talking of the church here, he is always wearing a colorful shirt and having a bulgan and all these things. So he is definitely a sinner. But about I think 10, 12 years back, I have written a book on mental illness, and that book touched many Pentecostal leaders and pastors and churches. Then they started inviting me, saying, we never knew these things. So can you come and tell us these things? I led the convention in Hebron, Umbanat for many, many years. Now I don't have time to go. That's why I'm not going. I took programs in Manakala. I spoke in several Sharon churches. And this is the background I have. Now, we are coming back into the Word of God in connection with what I do in my life in the ministry. We are going, and in Pennsylvania we can drive only 60, 70 miles in certain places. But here I am going to drive at least 150 miles. So pay attention, and I will go down to speak. And in certain churches we are not allowed even to move from the pulpit, but I am going down. Can somebody take the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and read from verse 25 onwards, please.
Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to his neighbor, for we are all members of one body. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. He who has been stealing must steal no longer, but must work, doing something useful with his own hands, that he may have something to share with those in need. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up, according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, with whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you.
Amen. That's a good title, correct, right? Okay, all right, okay. Because I am very particular about my times. Since our dear sister has spoken about the Father's Day, I'm not going to touch on that. But I have a humble request to all the young people. I teach in so many colleges, schools, conduct a lot of seminars, especially in India, even other countries, to teachers and students' parents. But this being a Christian gathering, I request all the young people, if you trust God, God will take care of you. Many people have asked me to write another book about my own life. The young people's life, with all the internet, all the iPhone, all what we see around, is getting into a lot of problems. The latest is, I think, TikTok, right? Blue Whale is almost out. Many people call me, many people ask me, many parents call me and say, Doctor, what can we do? As though I know the answer for all the problem. I don't have the answer for all the problem. The relationship between the children and the parents, between the husband and wife, all is going to play a great role in these things. I am standing here today because of my parents. My mother, when I was growing up, I left my home when I was 17 years old with a SSLC in my hand. For the young people, don't think I am glorifying myself for your information. Today I have written several books. I have 4 postgraduate degrees, different certifications other than my doctorate. I traveled extensively. I hardly have 1 shoe and 1 pant and 1 shirt when I was growing up a teenager to working in North India. But God helped me to establish churches. I don't want to say which all places. So young people, always remember, don't dirty your hand with anything. Yesterday I spent the night with a friend of mine, and his wife told me that he has a $100,000 credit card with him. He can spend anything. But in the night as we are talking, he said, I never ever, if I eat an $8 meal, I say $8. I can spend up to $74 for a meal without any questions asked. But if I spend $75 only, I have to submit the bill. But I never dirty my hand with unfaithfulness. You know what is happening to our world today? Lies, cheating, manipulations are all over the place. This is for your information. I am not trying anybody to praise me or anything. I left one place with a 14-room house with a pregnant wife and 2 children because I cannot falsify the account. I could have easily made 2 lakhs rupees. I am talking about 30 years back in India. Easily made 2 lakhs rupees a month, even more. All what I need to do is little bit manipulation. I left my first job in California. I came to study there. I stood for certain principles. I left a director's job because I said I cannot allow such things to happen. But God blessed me and blessed me much more than that. So young people, just trust the Lord. Do what you can, study, respect your parents, respect your pastor, respect your elders, and God will bless you abundantly, much more than you can even imagine. Now we are going back to our lesson. We don't have time to look into all the things. Only one word. It says, let not the sun go down on your anger. That's all we are going to discuss. Is the anger good or bad? Anger is bad? How many of you say, I know it is a church. How many of you think anger is bad? Please raise your hand. Don't look here and there. Stand for what you believe. You know, when you raise it courageously. Don't like the, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Eh? Okay. So we are confused now, right? Is there anyone sitting here who doesn't get angry at all? So, knowingly it is bad, you get angry also, right? I often say, if I can find a person who never got angry, please let me know. When he die, I want to get the brain and maybe do some research. I send it, not me, I'll send it to some places and they can do some research. Anger is with us always. Anger is an emotion. Usually many of my messages are 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. So that's why I'm going very fast. I won't be able to touch all the things. Anger is just an emotion. What the Bible says is, let not the sun go down on your anger. I'll give you some examples. Suppose I can take Pastor and his wife. They are the nicest people. And I hope I won't be beaten up also. Because if I take anybody else, they will think, Pastor told about us too. And then I'll be in trouble. Pastor will be in deep mess. So Pastor and wife, this is the first time I am seeing her, I know her father. They both had an argument over something. Maybe it's a fish curry. Okay? And things were going little out of hand. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And I hope they pray. First thing they do is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they are sitting together for prayer. I'm just talking from my imaginations. What will happen to that prayer? Things won't. In Malayalam they may sing Endadishayame Devatin Sneham, but the pastor will be always looking at her. The fish curry was very bad, and I'm waiting. I'm just giving only a fish curry example. We have so many fightings in the homes, right? I deal with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of divorce cases, family problems for the last 30, 35 years in different parts of the world. So I know what is happening in the families. Nobody need to teach me anything about it. Is the prayer is going to glorify God? Because sin is in the heart. Then what happened? The children, I don't know how many children they even have. So their children are watching it. And they all are standing here and there with a tensed mind. We don't know what is going to happen next. You know what happens in the families, right? Lot of argument, lot of fights, lot of things. So many children develop so many personality disorders because they grew up in a very dirty, unhealthy environment. And many young people leave the church because things what they see is not right. Then comes the dinner time. Do you think our dear sister will say, honey, baby, or you eat this, with this chapati, this is very good for you? No. What she is going to do is to throw it like a cricket thing to his table, eat or get out, right? And the pastor will be looking at her. And the children all will be standing there. All right. And the children are standing around like the goalkeepers because we don't know what time this chapati is going to fall to our place. Because they are all frightened, right? Never ever eat chapati or rice when you are angry. Only you are going to develop ulcer and other problems. Maybe, Pastor, you can call the church secretary, say, I suddenly declare a day of fasting for me. That is better than eating that food. Because it's not going to help you in any way. Only you develop sickness, physical. You know, there are a lot of sicknesses. I know there may be nurses here, doctors or anything. Psychosomatic sicknesses. It starts with the mind, ends with the body. Somato-psycho sicknesses, it starts with the body, it ends with the mind. Especially cancer. If the mind, any sickness, if the mind go down, what will happen? The body collapses. So all these things is interrelated. Coming to that subject, I did a lot of study on human need. What are some of our human needs? Roti kapda? Amen. Who said that? Amen, my sister. Roti kapda makan, I think about 1900 or something, some German philosophers, psychologists, they invented that theory. which is right. Roti is for what? Roti is for what? Nourishment of the body. Kapda is for what? To cover our body. Makan is for what? To shelter. So all the three things are for our body. This is where the world is heading for. All our needs are for our body. And then some people say, I wish I can get another $100,000 extra salary. And the money is a good thing, right? In the seminars I usually ask, many people say, if I have a lot of money, I'll be very happy. Will you be? Yes or no? Are you sure? Then I tell some people, I am going to give you a $10,000 every day into your account. And almost all the people raise their hands. Who doesn't want it, right? Because they will think doctor is a very rich guy, so he's going to give me, why can't I take it? But then comes the condition. I'm going to lock you in the room. Only thing I will do is I'll give you some food under the table. How many of you want? I used to work with the prison population because I was certified to treat, the prison people who is in the jail. The judges used to send people to us. The freedom is what they lack. They have all the other things. We have emotional need. That is why I tell the husbands, once a while, go and pat on the back of your wife and say, honey, your fish curry was very good. Once a while. Even at the age of 50, go and celebrate a honeymoon somewhere. Many wives have complained to me, I have everything, but I have never seen the smiling face of my husband. Then if she look at the other guy, don't blame her for it. You asked for it, you got it. Many husbands say the same thing to me about the wife. Emotional need, mental need, we learn things. Spiritual needs, we come to the church, we read, we sing and all the things. Physical need. Is any of this need is above the other need? Be honest, be truthful in answering. Is any of this need is greater than the other one? Yes? What's that? Spiritual need? Yeah, I know you cannot say other than that you're sitting in the church. Because pastor is listening. I can tell you one thing, my brothers and sisters. All these needs are equal and same. I wish I had more time to explain all these things. Spiritual needs are really great. God is great, that's a different thing. God is great, God comes first. Many families face problem because either the husband or wife spend a lot of time only in spiritual matters. I have handled a lot of cases like that. So then comes night time. They are sleeping. Since we all live in America, the husband usually tells, I know a story when the Achan called, is Susan there in the home? I said, let me see whether her car is here. That is not family life. The husband and wife, then either they will sleep on both sides of the bed, or in two different rooms, or in two different floors. because they had a fight over fish curry. And next morning, pastor comes to the church with a very good smile. He will say, "Praise the Lord." You think he is saying really praise the Lord? I live in peace. I sleep in peace. That's what the Bible says, right? മലയാളത്തിൽ എന്താ പറയുന്നത്? നീയല്ലോ യഹോവേ. But with the anger in our heart, can we able to sleep? No. In India, when I take the class, even here, when you go out to meet somebody in the morning, here we don't take the buses or anything like in India, say they take the buses. The conductor may get angry, not because you did something wrong, he had a bad night. So when you go to the office, just to say a prayer. I told my manager last week, he was very tense. And I said, "Could you please do us a favor? Can you put a red ribbon somewhere when you are really angry so we all run for our life?" So if you sleep, if you allow the sun to go down on your anger, it affects your spiritual life, it affects your mental life, it affects everything. Your relationship with the church also, among the people. So Bible says, let not the sun go down. You know what happens? When the sun go down, here of course, it goes down like 8 o'clock today. That's the climate, because of the climate and the time and the things happen. Say a sun go down by 6 o'clock. The darkness falls on the street. If the pastor or somebody is angry, they have a way of taking it out. They can see the beautiful flowers. They can see the sound. They can see the singing of the birds. So if you are angry, I always advise, do not take your pen. Do not write anything. Do not make any phone calls. If you have a way of getting out, take a walk here. Maybe after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Like in America, you call time out, right? Take a time out, you may be much better. It's a simple principle what God has taught us. Let not the anger go down on your anger. Then the other one comes, when it comes to, you don't have time to read because time is running. In the book of Genesis, there is a portion which says, when Adam and Eve committed sin, then Cain and Abel developed the problem. And the Cain's, what you call, sacrifice was not accepted by God. And then he got angry. He was very angry with his younger brother Abel. What did he say? God said to him, "Cain, why are you angry? The sin is at the door, and you have to overcome it." And many times we often tell to God, "God, if you speak to me, I'll be all right." No. Because we have become so rebellious. Even if God speaks to us directly, many of us are not going to change. That's the same story we see in the book of Lazarus, story of Lazarus and Abraham. What did God tell? We have prophets, we have preachers, we have pastors, we have so many people on the earth. If your brother doesn't want to listen, even if Lazarus go down, they will mock at him only. Did Cain listen to God? No. Whenever I read that portion, I usually cry. Abel was an innocent person. His brother took him to the field. Maybe he tried to mock him. We don't know what exactly what happened. You know, when we want to fight with somebody, it's very easy. If I want to fight with pastor, all I need to do is very simple. Take his eyeglass and call him, you have old hurt, even though I have much more than that. And I can make some fun of something. No matter how pious and holy, I can make him angry. Because there is a limit, he can take it. So maybe Cain did something to irritate Abel. And he may have asked his brother, Achacha, why you are doing this to me? Then Cain may have told him, you calling me Achacha? You calling me your brother? Look at what God has done to me. Then they both had little argument. Because Cain was looking for a chance to hit him. That's all what he wanted to do it. He cannot go and hit him like that. So he made an opportunity to fight with his brother. Now here is the important part. When Adam and Eve committed sin, what happened? Kicked him out of the garden. He said, because of you the earth is cursed. Earth is not going to give you its fruit. You are going to eat with the sweat. That is why we had to leave India and come here, get up 6 o'clock and go and work double and triple, everything like that. Even though I took officially off on Friday, 5 o'clock, here comes a call, 6 o'clock, can you go to this hospital? I had to go. I went. Of course, I got some pat on the back from the GM. He sent a letter to, email to all our programs saying, I'm a very dedicated person. Why did I go? Because they are the one paying me by bread and butter. Are you listening to me? Adam and Eve, because of that curse came on the earth. Now what happened to Cain? Because of his anger, now the curse is upon him. In Malayalam, I usually say, Appanu kittathathu mone choദിchu vaങ്ങിച്ചു. Adam was not cursed. Many people say that. He committed sin, but still God was merciful to him. But when his son killed his brother, the blood was shed, he was cursed. Look at the world, what we are seeing today. Everything collapsed because of anger. Now I'm coming to my subject in the mental health field for a little time, maybe another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. Okay. Let me ask you this question. I don't want the medical people, nurses to answer. When you look at a person with mental illness, what is that come to our brain first time? Suppose a man walking here with a mental illness, how will you react? മലയാളത്തിൽ നമ്മളെന്തോ അന്യോന്യം പറയുന്നത് ചെവിയിൽ നമ്മൾ പറയും ഒരു വട്ടം വന്നു ഇല്ല പറയുന്നില്ല. Yes or no? My dear brothers and sisters, don't say that. Don't ever say that. They are just like you and me. I don't know whether you notice. Have you seen me sometimes shaking my head like this? maybe not, maybe yes. My head is standing on a few screws. About 25 years back, I was hit and beaten by a mentally ill person. I had to go to surgery. My neck got damaged, so a few screws are there. Still, I continue to work. Even today, I change my jobs. Never ever. I'll give you a few examples, then I will close it. There are the latest findings in the world is about 6 years back the report came. The reports vary, but one of the most accepted thing is about 45% of the people in the world have mental problems. Don't say we all have mental problems. Just say majority of the people. When you say that, don't go to your home today and say, Achacha, I was suspecting this. Now the doctor has said you have a serious problem. Then I say, if you get beaten up, pastor is not responsible, Dr. Thomas is not responsible. I never said it. 45%. Of course, majority of them doesn't need to go to hospital. But there is a problem in the brain. So many people are there. Like there are certain people with a narcissism behavior. If there is a narcissistic person here, or there is no other problem you need to have it. He will create problem for offering, he will create problem for the pastor, he will create problem for the color of the chair, everything. Because his only aim is, I am the king of this church. Nobody can do anything. Narcissism is a very big problem. Many politicians have that problem. Many rulers have that problem. They don't care about anything. Even if 100,000 get killed, they get satisfied. That is why there are a lot of such things happening in the world. And they have a way of getting into the power. Then there is another problem. Majority of the divorces happening is, we all say lack of love. That's a sophisticated cover-up word we use it. One of them may have, I'm not saying all have, one of them may have a problem. I'll give you 2-3 examples, then I will close it. One day I got a call from a bishop about 13 times that day. And when I saw 13 times, I called him back around 12:30 in the night. He's a good friend of mine. And I asked Bishop, what is the problem? He's a doctor, I want you to help me. There is a family somewhere in India. This girl is very beautiful, holding a master's degree. And Bishop told me briefly what all happened. When he feed the child, not to the mouth, usually she feed here and there. She take bath hardly once in 2 weeks. Somehow they have 2 children. She hide chocolate and such items under the cloth in the shelf. Always fight, always things drop. I said, what did you do? He said, psychiatrist said nothing can be done. Psychologist said very hard. And the husband, if such a case comes, be honest, our time is only 5 or 6 minutes more. What will be the reaction of the church if somebody like that comes as a member of the church? What will you conclude? And she teaches Sunday school also. Okay, what will you tell? Please we don't say only bishop, Pentecostal people, so many are there. Okay? what will you conclude? Why she is doing like that? She is having a possession, right? Okay. Two personalities, okay. All right. Two personalities. Anything else? When Garden of Eden incident happened, our glory left us. That is where the evil possession story comes. I am not saying people cannot be possessed with the devil. Yes, I believe in that. But majority of the mental illness is, if that is an evil possession, then cancer is also an evil possession. You know why? It happened because of the result of the sin. In that way, mental illness is. But the real evil possession people are different. That we can recognize. There was a time we thought cancer as in Malayalam what we call just a tumor, just a murder, right? But nowadays you say it's a murder or tumor. In America we may call it. In India we say there is something in the stomach. Now the name is what? Cancer. When somebody has a cancer, you don't call them, hey, Thomas, cancer is going. Do we say that? No. But when a person with a mental problem, what will happen? We will say, water is going. Don't say that. This lady has a personality disorder which is very difficult to cure. I said, if you all listen, cooperate, I can help her 50%. But her father and mother never accepted. And many people have the guts of telling me the husband is not loving her. That is what the usual excuse is. You don't blame the husband. So my dear friends, brothers, sisters, when there is a problem in the family, when there is an issue, please don't blame husband and wife because you don't know the real fact. Two more things, maybe 3 more minutes. The depression is a very common thing. You know what is a depression is? It is great. Those who travel in the plane, you can see it. When you hit the air pocket, what happens? The plane go down. The same way, when the problems, when the difficulties happen, what happens? Our mind go down. The church can do a lot of things about the people with the depression. But unfortunately, let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, the church many times, not all the churches, aggravate people's problems. We gossip a lot. Don't do it. We attack each other a lot. Don't do it. Because we are brothers and sisters saved by the grace of God, planning to go to heaven. Let there be no hatred. If there is any hatred, any anger, before participating in the Lord's table, you have to confess one to another. Don't do that. Many people have left the church because church is not helping them. If you hear something is in some problem, do not aggravate it. Let your life be a shining example. I am going to meet a friend of mine in Dallas. It's a living story. Many years back, we lived together. He was never went to church. He had so many girlfriends he brought to home. But I shared a part of his house. long, long ago. But many times he told me one thing. I never preached to you. But he told me, your life influenced me. You are one of the few Christians I have ever met in my life. About 3 months back, he told me, it may be just a God's plan, coincidence, whatever you call it. He called me and said, Dr. Thomas, where are you? I said, I'm here. And I said, are you still in Florida? He said, I'm living in Dallas. I want to tell you something. I'm a Christian. I go to church. I am married. I never thought he will ever marry because we change girlfriends every few months. Now he has a son. First he said, we want you to come and stay with us. Then I said, I'm coming because maybe God's plan, I'm committing this to. That we want to see him. Yes, this morning he said, I cannot wait to see you again. He's the one going to take me. My friends, if 50 people belonging to the Sharon Fellowship in Houston, humble yourself, obey the Bible, love one another, do what the Bible says, you can turn the world upside down. You can. But the problem is, we hold back so many things. Let there be freedom. Let there be freedom in the worship. Just leave aside all the other things. Love one another. I'm going to close my message. All what you can do is, mental illness is a big, very big field. Families are destroyed, children are getting damaged. I teach the teachers go to school, from school to school. So many children are suffering. Most of the mental illness starts at the age of 10, 12, 13. And we say they are rebellious. It has to be treated, it has to be taken. And in the end, all the mental illness have no cure nowadays. One of my book is coming out by next month. If anybody want to see it, you can buy it. I didn't bring any copy or anything. Indian edition is almost over. If you want, you can take my website. You can join me in the Facebook. I write about a lot of posts and articles. I write in ICPF magazine in India, in several magazines. So you can go into my website, www.mindatpeace.us. You can ask us. May the Lord bless you. Our time is running out. I'm very sorry. I cannot complete everything. If God wills, maybe some other time. May God's peace and blessing be